to India Today. This is Hesha Chimah, and joining me on my show is Sonali Bendre. Well, it was absolutely necessary that I had her and made her a part of not just a pretty face, because I'm sure that she's way, way, way more than just the beauty that she is, even right now. Hello.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me on this show. And I love the fact that you have a show that's called Not Just a Pretty Face.
Yay, I like it.
I think all of us kind of identify with that feeling a lot. Yeah.
We do. And that's exactly what even, the whole idea of the show is to talk to women across, I feel like, genres and,
Yeah.
I don't know, across platforms, across industries, and just speak
Across
about
ages.
ages.
Yeah.
Most
Oh my God.
importantly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And be like, कि भाई हो गया यार, बहुत हो गया box करना, but हम
So
बहुत
I
कुछ
have a
हैं.
question for you. When you say not just a pretty face, where I'm concerned, is it because that youth of prettiness is not there anymore? Or at this age also pretty, that's why? What is it?
No, it's at this age also pretty. In fact, prettier. Sonali, you're looking prettier than ever. I have to say.
Okay.
In fact, when andar aaye hain, there's Rajesh ji behind this camera. He's telling me, he's like, wow, Sonali's looking very nice today. I said,
Thank
I
you.
know.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, he did.
Thank
He
you.
remembers through then. So I was like, listen, you have
Yeah.
to go tell her. I'm telling her in the show only. So that is actually the idea. Because पता है क्या होता है? I feel like, I'm sure मैं आपको जानने वाली हूँ इस show के through, but a lot of upbringing makes a lot of difference as how like we women are shaped. I feel I've been very lucky to have parents who did not treat me like a girl or a guy. They just grew me up like a human.
Yeah.
कि भाई तुमको जो करना है तुम करो, ऐसे करो, वैसे करो, जैसे करना है करो, but
हाँ.
know your limitations.
Yeah.
But as you grow out in the field and then you meet people of, different mindsets, and then you realize that, shit, why are they boxing me just because
Yeah,
of
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
I like fashion or maybe I like makeup or whatever the hell it is. I'm still intelligent, मैंने पढ़ाई
Yeah.
की है.
Yeah.
So, Sonali, my first question to you is, I want to know from your experience, what was your experience like? Were you ever made to feel that your intelligence was discounted only because you were a pretty girl? Let's say पहले or let's say industry join करने के बाद भी.
Hesha, I have to say that अभी इस वक्त आपके साथ जहाँ मैं बैठी हूँ, हम इन चीज़ों के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. लेकिन जब मैंने शुरुआत की थी तो ये इन चीज़ों के बारे में बात ही नहीं होती थी, क्योंकि we never thought that this was a thing.
Yeah.
Now when you discuss it, we say, oh, is this what it is supposed to be? Because for us at that point, this is the way it was.
Yeah.
Now when I look back, I realize that there were points where one would feel slighted or one would feel that I can do more, but the thought was not that why am I being treated like this. It was more like, you would feel that and then say, but this is the way it is. To a large extent, most of us as women have been conditioned like that, and we said that yeah, I know it. And sometimes you as women will sit girlfriends के साथ कि यार ऐसे treat किया, हम share करेंगे. But अपनी हम as friends also we will never think beyond the point कि हम बाहर जाके इसको challenge करें beyond the point. So हम challenge करते थे, but in our very quiet और छोटा ways में. अभी जो हो रहा है, that I think is life altering. It's amazing, and it's like I'm glad I'm there in this moment where I'm going through this. What it is, this going through it, but this is a conversation.
Yeah.
In my time, this was not even a conversation.
Yeah.
When I started, my time is now also.
Yes, of course.
I must say that. But when I started, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like I think बहुत ज़्यादा normalize हो गया था कि चलो ऐसे ही treat किया जाता है.
No, I think क्योंकि हम 3 बहनें हैं. हमारी upbringing में जैसे आपने कहा कि आपको girl या boy की तरह नहीं, तो हम तीनों बहनें थी. So my mother was always very strong, and it was like yeah. लेकिन her upbringing was also of a certain kind. तो जैसे for example, in a lot of ways my mother would be very broad-minded. Education has to happen. आपकी शादी के बारे में सोच भी नहीं सकते जब तक आप you're not standing on your own feet and all of that. Financially independence is most important, and all of that. Very progressive, very this thing and all of that. Yet, like, oh my God, I'm in pain, my back is aching, I've got my periods or whatever, and it's like, stop whining.
Yeah.
You need to bear it. You're a woman. And suddenly it would be that. And I'm like, why do I have to? But it's so painful. And now when you look at it, that conversation is different. But so in a certain way, while she was very progressive, my mother and even my grandmother, yet they came with their own limitations.
Yeah.
In the same way, I feel that, I didn't even realize when I thought I was so progressive. I fought with them, I've convinced them, and I'm into this field that nobody ever thought I would be in. And yet now when I look back, I say, my God, why did I tolerate so much? So you see, you grow.
You grow, true. You know, I'm going to pick from what you just said two very important things. One is obviously our menstrual cycles, when that happens, and then when we women sort of take a step back, because I feel like, okay, there's massive conversation about equality and all of that, fair. I'm somebody who's gender neutral. I feel like everybody should get equal opportunities, man or female, doesn't matter. But when things like these do happen to a women, it's because we're biologically like this. तो होता है यार, pain होता है, थकान होती है, नहीं शायद कर पाएंगे 12-14 घंटे काम, right? And it's only fair to probably take that leave or just, you know, be easy. So only tell me an experience where probably you had to just tell yourself कि यार अपने health के लिए भी छुट्टी मांगने में जज किया जा रहा है.
But मैं खुद ही जज कर रही थी खुद को.
बाद में
Subconscious में you are so conditioned as a woman. You're so conditioned, like it was drilled into you.
Yeah.
You will have a child one day. You better learn to bear the pain. So it's conditioned into, we as women don't even realize how much of conditioning we've gone through.
Yeah.
So forget anybody else saying that we shouldn't be taking the leave. I was harsh on myself and wouldn't take a leave. You know, you push through, you'll pop the pills and you push through and all of that. I've done that all my life, you know. And I think not just me, most of the women have done
most
that.
of us
So
have done
now the fact that if there is some sort of a, what do you say, an HR thing, or I don't know what it is called in work premises, in corporate world, or even in offices, just if that awareness comes in, and hopefully most women will not take undue advantage of it, because then that makes it bad for people who genuinely need it. Because there are women who take advantage of it and undue advantage of it. So as long as that doesn't happen, we can go and normalize this a lot more than it ever was.
That's true. Even finances, you spoke about that as well. I feel like as independent women, one most important thing is managing and knowing about finances. Like financial awareness is rather important. लगता है लोगों को, या शायद ऐसा होता भी होगा, I'm not saying anything is right or wrong, but people are taken in a way that maybe she's a girl, she doesn't know how to handle her finances, maybe she doesn't know what investments there, ये तो सिर्फ shopping करेगी, whatever, X, Y, Z. I want to know, how is Sonali with her finances then and now?
No, I came through, finances is a very touchy topic for me, because the reason I started working as early as I did was because my family went through a huge financial problem. And so for me, not being financially independent means insecurity. And so for me, security comes from having my own finances. And because I have lived through that, and especially when you do that in your teen years, and that's your formative years, and those are the years that kind of most of your traumas are childhood or teenage oriented, is what you carry through till the end of your life. So that till today for me, that is a huge trauma and an insecurity. So for me, being financially independent is very, very, very important, above and beyond what my mother used to say. Because of what we went through.
But you know, Sonali, let's say that to sort of achieve that financial independence, you set foot in the industry. I know that you mentioned this to me earlier, that this was not planned. It just happened to you. And when it did happen to you, you managed to gather a lot of eyeballs. I feel I've told this to you before also, both men and women found you super attractive. I find you super attractive even right now. I'm not trying to hit on Sonali.
Thank you.
But no, I mean it. I for sure mean it. But there's also an aspect of all of us that sort of comes from a little bit of an insecure space. I feel, especially at your time, you had so many actresses who were already doing so well for themselves, looked amazing, and then there was a Sonali Bendre equally making sure that she's made her appearance, made her acting. Matlab sari footing aapne kar di thi. I loved you in Sarforsh, I loved your songs. I don't know how to say this, but I feel like there was a moment where I personally felt that I saw Hum Saath Saath Hai, and that's when I went like, how is she doing this? Like, is she really this? Like, you made me believe that you're the person, but when I meet you, I know you're not that person at all.
At all, yeah.
But what I want to ask you and circle back to come to is that in a space like this where there's so much importance, A, given to vanity, B, so many beautiful people, and yet, you know, you're there also. How did you navigate any sort of insecurity that must have cropped in, especially when you're sharing screen space with women?
You know, for me, it was a job. And like I said, this was paying my bills, and those bills were very, very important. Paying those bills was the most important thing at that point of time. So for me, it was more like, you know, where's my next job coming from? Where's my next paycheck coming from? And am I going to cover the month? You know, so that was my insecurity. So that insecurity was so big that everything else really didn't matter.
Matter.
It was pani kam chai, right? You know, like, it was like that. This is not nothing to stress about. I mean, I had real stresses in life. So for me, that was for me the thing was to, I mean, you know, because my father was a government servant, you lived in quarters. We didn't have whatever the thing was, you know, with extended family, the issues that happened and all of that. But we were at a point where we didn't know where the next, if we would have a roof over our head, where the next meal would come from, will the next electricity bill be paid, you know, that sort of a situation. So when you come down to that kind of basics, everything else is a luxury. So I think I came from that and everything else. So for me, even today, when I have to buy something for myself because I like it, I do even today feel a pang of guilt. The thing is to kind of keep it away and not really do that, and then say, no, but I really like it, and I think I've worked hard enough. I think I can, you know, kind of give myself this gift kind of a thing. But it really takes me a long time to just pick something up for myself without feeling the guilt.
But then how did you just at some point decide to like leave all of it?
Oh, it was for my child.
So then that's motherhood.
Yeah.
So I feel it's very fair to say that when there are these ongoing conversations that happen, that women, especially working women and working mothers, are very selfish. And, you know, they only care about their work and blah, 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 which is not true. I want to know what's one misconception that Sonali would like to break about.
But you know, the thing is that I was lucky that I had something that I could have put away, and I'd been good with my money. I mean, just for example, because you asked me about investments and stuff also, I've always been a more solid person rather than going with the trend. I've always been more of a solid person. And I also was one of the first female actors to do television. When I did Kya Masti Kya Dhoom, which was with Star, which was still Fox. I
think it was Fox only.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, I got,
Fox,
so I did it, and I took my payment in foreign currency. And so I knew that I had a certain amount where I could say that, okay, now I'm going to take this time off. I have burnt myself. Now my time is for my child. I had the luxury of doing that.
Yeah.
All women don't have that luxury, you know, and so I could do it. I'm grateful to God for that. But everybody does not have that luxury. And when they don't, then, you know, that managing that, I think, is so hard.
Yeah, it is. It does get very difficult. You know? That's when you're sitting and thinking about what next to do. And I feel that's when the judgment and the boxing happens. It's bad and it's harsh. But, you know,
no, but also it's important to have a partner who kind of understands that both of you need to contribute.
Yeah.
Like if I'm contributing financially, you need to contribute domestically.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that your emotional intelligence is extremely high?
Yeah, I think so.
But are you thick-skinned or are you vulnerable? Or
I mean, you see, now the first instinct is to kind of push myself down, but no, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
My EQ is very high.
Very high.
And IQ is not bad.
IQ is not bad. No, it's not. But EQ is very important as well.
Yeah. But especially in today's day and age of AI, I think anybody can have the IQ. You really don't. Machines will do that for you. EQ is where the humanity is coming in at this point of time.
Yeah.
Before AI takes over that also. I don't know when they'll do that.
We don't want that to happen for sure. वैसे भी लोग इतने cold-hearted हो रहे हैं. We need a little bit of emotion.
For all you know, AI will be more warm-hearted than the people.
Oh God. You know how these things are happening right now? I don't know where I read this. Japan, China, that now you have robots who come and give you hugs and all. Also,
I really wish I don't come to that stage.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I wish I always have a puppy that gives me the hug.
Yeah, not all of these AI-oriented things. But, you know, actually coming back and talking about emotions only, I feel like it's often said that actors need to be thick-skinned also because they are in the public eye. You've been in the public eye as well. You're still in the public eye where people are watching everything that you're doing, even through your ups and downs, whether it was with your health or whether it was your journey, whatever it is, Sonali. I want you to tell me that how important it is for you to have that wall up and be thick-skinned and at the same time not forget your roots and also be emotionally vulnerable.
See, as an actor, really you can't be too thick-skinned because as an actor, you're peddling, you're selling your emotions.
Yeah.
So those are something that you need to be in touch with all the time, and they need to be up there and not buried inside.
Yeah.
So the faster you can tap into emotions, better the actor. So it's kind of a contradictory thing, and yet your success is so public, and that's why you get all you get.
Yeah.
And the con of that is that your failure is also very public.
Yeah.
So every pro has a con, and every con has a pro.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to just accept that, and you need to kind of tell yourself what is it that really matters, and where is it that you start shutting things down. Sometimes, like in my case, my husband calls it my wall of China that comes up.
God Pro Max.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So I find it very difficult to open out to people, and I find it very difficult to make friends. I would not say difficult. The word would be, I take very long to make friends. So I can have a good equation and I can do things, but truly having a friend is, and I've reached a point where I actually speak about this, but there was a point when I wouldn't even say this openly because I didn't want people to know that I'm not really a friend.
Okay.
And I was so deep inside that, you know, but now I think my illness has been something that has opened me out a lot more.
Yeah.
I'm living much more in the moment. I'm accepting life and I'm not putting up, I realize that when I put up these walls, I am denying myself a lot of love, affection, friendships.
Yeah.
And I don't want to deny myself that. So I'm opening out a lot more now than I ever did before.
Yeah.
And but I still find it very difficult. My inner circle still has just those many people. And it takes a long while for me to get those people in. Because also for me, once that person is in, they're in.
Yeah.
Then,
doubt.
yeah.
That's you know, honestly,
Yeah.
it's also me, because I've always said this to my friends time and again, that if you break my trust, don't do it, because I don't do half friendships. I'm
Yeah.
always doing full friendships.
Either full in, or then, you know,
Yeah.
really not in for
Yeah.
the longest time. And I can survive that with
Yeah.
that, you know, just meeting, doing whatever.
And being detached.
Yeah.
Completely detached on the face only. I'm existing, I'm living, whatever is going on.
Yeah.
But tell me something, you know, somebody who has been in the industry, been in the limelight, and then you've, you know, sort of made a comeback, and then there was successive Broken News, both the seasons 1 and 2. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that, because that show is something that I, as a journalist, obviously relate to it pro max. There's no doubt about that. But it related with a lot of people, which is why it did the kind of numbers that it did. So congratulations firstly on that.
Thank you so much.
But what I want to ask you though is that where are all? In fact, even this interview that's going on eventually depends on ki kitne numbers clock hue, kya views aaye, all of that. Same is with the movie, same is with the show, because now we have streaming numbers, box office, blah blah. ये चलता ही रहता है. मुझे बताओ, मुझे सोनाली से जानना है कि do you feel somewhere down the line an actor's say talent or craft becomes proportionate to all of these numbers? Ki it's otherwise.
I don't know really, actually. You know, there are a lot of times, there's a lot of theories about this. But I can talk about myself. And, you know, for me, I was never the, what everybody was slotting in the numbers. I never ranked in those numbers because I was an outsider in that sense. And, you know, nowadays you're wearing this outsider thing like a big badge. I don't know what's the big deal about it. Everybody comes in at some point, they are in that sense. So, yeah. Anyway, not a topic I'm very interested in, waste of time. But for me, sorry, not for others maybe, but yeah. But I would say that I was never considered that. But you see, it doesn't matter what some place is saying is number 1, number 2, or number 3. What really matters is that today, at this age, after all these years, I sit here and you want to interview me and you want to know what I think, and your audience wants to hear, even if it is stupid or whatever, or why am I self-deprecating, but you know, whatever it is, but you want to hear what I'm saying. And that, I think, is what numbers will not tell you.
True.
And I have always got that kind of love. So numbers, wherever they spoke about awards, it never came in that bracket. But when I stepped out, when I was at the airport or at the thing, the kind of love that I got, you could never deny it. There was no doubt about the love that I've got from people.
Yeah.
And so for me, that barometer has always been the one that mattered. And I've always, and for an actor, and especially in our line, if you're working, you're there.
You're there.
Because if you're not loved, you will not get the work.
True.
So that's what it is.
But you know, Sonali, I have to say this, as you said, that your love and your fan base has been very loyal to you. You know, it's not changed. It's been there, irrespective of whether you've made yourself available for work or you've not, or you've taken, let's say, a sabbatical by choice. However, what I want to ask you is that, has there ever been a point where you yourself felt that, okay, you know what, I'm going to come back, I'm going to do these things, but I'm only pressurizing myself कि भाई चलेगा नहीं चलेगा क्या होगा उसके बाद क्या करूँगी?
Of course, anytime you do something You know, that you want it to be accepted, you want it to do well. It's a business, you know, eventually it's a creative business. And whoever the producer is and whatever the thing is, you want them to, you know, make a profit on it. Because only when that happens will the next job come. See, contradictory to what everybody thinks, you know, oh, once you're a star, always a star. It doesn't work like that. It works on your last release. What was the last outing that you did is what it depends on. How well that did is what determines the next job that you're going to get. You know, it's as simple as that. So it definitely, I'm not saying that it doesn't matter. It matters, definitely matters as to how the show is done. So when at the moment you say breaking news did well, yes, it makes me feel good that the love. But I know for a fact that, you know, the kind of subject it is, and it's not being spoken about the way a lot of other you know, kind of shows get spoken about. And that's sad because, like you said, it's a fantastic show. When I came back to doing fiction, I really was I wanted to come back with a character that was relevant, that was with a story that said something relevant to today's times. And because, you know, the way you look or that kind of roles will keep coming to you.
Correct.
But I wanted it to be not just about the looks. And I'm sure I've said this to you before. It's not like I'm grateful for the looks I have, because that's what gave me the job in front of the camera. I would have never been here. So I'm really grateful for these looks. But I didn't do anything about that. Those are the genetics. I'm really thankful to my genes, my parents, grandparents, etc., etc. What do I bring to the table? So that's where it comes in, you know, the hard work or the consistency and to be there. That's what I bring into the table, you know. And so when work is appreciated, and especially something like Broken News, which is not just about how I look, but about the work that has been done, it makes me feel better than what some other thing would make me feel.
True.
Like, you know, you can say great picture and all of that. Of course, I feel lovely when I hear that. Who doesn't like a compliment? But when you hear a compliment where Broken News is concerned, it always makes you feel better.
Yeah, I loved you in the Broken. I love the fashion also, but of course it's more about who you were. And as I said, I was damn sad when you died.
But I love the fact that.
But yeah. Like, nice.
But you know, the thing is that I'm happy that you like the fashion also, because I really thought that, you know, just because you're an editor-in-chief, you don't have to be the jhola carrying dowdy person. I mean, I see all of you girls, you're so fashionable, you're so well turned out, and it, you know, you can be what you are without, because clothes are just an expression. And they don't define you. And so I just felt that, you know, the way Amina was, I just felt that she's proud of her heritage, and yet she's a modern woman. And I would say that if I wore Indian clothes in New York, I would wear it like this. And actually, I do wear clothes like that a lot of. That's me. So I said, you know, why not try that out?
You know, I'm going to pick from this again. Not about fashion in general, but let's say relevance. A lot of people in today's day and age who wish to have a longer career, specifically us women, because what happens is कि ageism आ जाता है या ये है वो है, जबकि कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. Like, even my career requires me to be in front of the camera, irrespective of how old I am. If I'm asking the right questions, if I'm doing my job well, if my brain's working, touch wood fine, I'm fit for the job, right? Relevance के लिए अपने आप को इतना pressure देना ज़रूरी नहीं है. And I feel, Sonali, you don't do that. I don't think you're very heavy on, let's just say, PR or marketing or anything like that. You're very much yourself. Then how are you so secure? Where is the sense of security coming from? वो आ कहाँ से रही है?
Because I save all the insecurity for the paycheck, you see.
Oh my God, love it.
It takes so much that I have nothing more left.
I've been never cracked up on a question like this ever before. Love it, love it. So that's how it is. It's all about that.
Yeah. No, so, you know, the thing is that now I tell myself that it's, you know, it's taken me a big thing that now it needn't be just about the paycheck. Now it can be more than that. And I'm trying. Yeah, but the old insecurities come back, but I'm trying. But like you said, see, the thing is that whatever you do, and when you've been in the public eye for so long, that you realize that it's today you're on top, tomorrow you're not. And believe me, if you're going to get carried away by being put on a pedestal, it's the same people who put you on pedestal that are going to pull you off it also. So as long as you know that, and so you don't get too carried away when you're on the pedestal, then you don't get too disappointed when you're off the pedestal. And you realize that sometimes you're on it and sometimes you're off it, and it's just a matter of when you're off it, you know that you can get back on it, and when you're on it, you need to be humble enough to know that you're going to be off it soon. It's just as simple as that.
Wow. No wonder. इसलिए अभी सब वहीं छोड़ते हैं, हम पैसे भी डाल देते हैं सारे, because वो better है वहाँ पे.
But if you're talking about fashion, I would say, because I'm more of a classic kind of a person. So for me, if I'm buying anything, I always think of, will I wear this piece when 20 years down the line? And if I will, only then do I pick up that piece. Otherwise, I don't.
But have you ever thought about this? What kind of
And I wear those pieces for 20 years.
Huh?
I wear my clothes, you can speak to my stylist when they open my wardrobe. You will find pieces that are 30 years old coming out also.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I mean, the first Abu Sandeep chicken kurta that I picked up in my life, I wear it till today.
Love it. That was the first expensive buy then, I can say. Fashion.
I think my first expensive, I think it would be, it would be Abu Sandeep.
The outfit.
Yeah,
Oh,
Sandeep
nice.
outfit. I'm not sure if it was that or shoes. Shoes have also been a very, for me, whatever else it is, I love wearing, but my shoes need to be,
Perfect.
yeah, rather than perfect, they need to be very, very comfortable. So you need a certain quality, then they deliver a certain amount of comfort. Everything that is expensive not necessarily is comfortable, but a lot of times you need certain kind of quality for the shoes to be comfortable. And early on in my career, I went through an accident and which had busted my knee and back and all of that. So it was very difficult for me to wear heels. And so when I went to it, then I would just invest in great shoes, because that was such a part of my life. And so I've always, shoes have always been a big thing for me then.
Yeah, because vanity for an actor is very important at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, है important. अच्छा दिखना ज़रूरी है. But lastly, Sonali, before I let you go, I have to ask you this. Have you ever thought what kind of legacy Sonali Bendre wants to leave behind?
I really haven't thought of a legacy or anything of that sort, because I don't know if I really want to leave a legacy. I think it's too much pressure of, leaving a legacy or not. I do feel that I never thought I would be an actor. I never thought for so many. Then once I became an actor, I never thought I would last so long. I mean, I remember telling my father, give me 2 years. If nothing happens, I'll come and I'll give the, the government exams that he wanted me to give. He's a central government servant. For him, daughter giving those exams is the ultimate the thing. So I promised him that. I said, I'm young enough, give me 2 years. And, I never looked back. I never thought I would last so long. Transition from that to getting married, and I said, okay, now I did South films, I continued working. I had a child. I said, okay, I'm not doing movies, but I did my first television show like I did, and I continued to do that, which was, I continued to do television in the talent shows and stuff like that, but I was doing that. I continued to work. I continued to, evolve.
Yeah.
And today I'm back into fiction again. And so who would have thought, when you look back, and the couple of, I think a month or 2 months back, when with Amir, when we did 25 years of Sarforsh, and I don't know, everybody was talking about it. It was so surreal, because it was like, who would have thought that, we would be sitting here talking about this? And suddenly it made me feel very old, because, everybody was talking about, oh my God, how did you do it? And I'm like, I feel like I'm still learning, and what are you talking about? So yeah, so I don't know. I think legacy is something that somebody else talks about or discusses, or if it can happen. I don't think, at least I genuinely don't think that you can plan and have a legacy. I think you just need to do your best every single time that you take on something. You give it your best, and then leave the rest to whatever has to meant to be will be.
Can I reframe? Can I ask you, how would you want to be remembered by people?
Oh, I wish I'm remembered. That is enough. That itself, and look at today's day and age, memory, everything is so
Doom
gone
scrolling.
so fast. If I'm remembered, that itself is a big deal.
Because the 25 साल सरफरोश के re-celebrate हुए हैं, वहाँ से अभी तक तो remember, you're remembered. Broken
so I
news
think I'm
वापस
happy
repeat
with
हो
that
गई है.
only.
Fab. In fact, there's conversation that it might be Sarforsh 2 and this and that, and I was like, listen, if that's happening, I'm putting it out there, I want your cameo. So let's call everybody, let's manifest. I need Sonali to be there for sure in Sarforsh 2 also. I'm saying this. Nobody else is saying it. It's me. We're just putting it out there on camera. But Sonali, thank you so much. I feel very refreshed. I feel like my thought process is vibing more with yours. मैं ज़्यादा stress ले रही थी ये insecure होने का. मुझे सिर्फ पैसे की ज़्यादातर insecurity रखनी चाहिए ताकि मेरे finances ठीक चल रहे हो.
See, because you know the thing is in life, the moment you're financially secure, you have a greater chance. You have more choices in life, and you know the greatest luxury in life is choice.
Yes.
Nothing is more priceless, more valuable than the fact that you can have a choice.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah,
that's true.
That's the most valuable thing that I have.
Have the choices to make and the choices to sort of understand what next to do.
No,
in
having the facility to be able to make a choice.
Yeah.
So many people go through their entire lives and don't have the facility to make a choice because you have to go a certain path. You need to do this to the next day.
Yeah.
But you know, I had the choice where I said that I want this phase of my life. I want to enjoy my child. I want to take the. I had the luxury of making that choice. Everybody doesn't have that. So that's the most valuable thing.
And I wish you continue to have that luxury to keep making those choices. Thank you so very much for your valuable time. I'm glad that you were a part of Not Just a Pretty Face. Really important to have you here.
No, I love this. I love the fact that you have a show which is not just a pretty face. So yeah.
Thank you. And I hope I see you super soon yet again.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.